I'm so hot right now, and as someone who is deeply concerned about the educational system, I can say for a fact that the world's educational system is not in any way designed to make geniuses. In fact, it is structurally designed to produce average people again and again. And you may be like, what am I talking about? Just wait a minute. Because if you're in an educational system right now, you might just be a victim. Okay, so let me take you down into the anatomy of this. You see, geniuses like Cristiano Ronaldo, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and even Leonardo da Vinci have this common thing with their brain. Their brain has more myelin than the normal average human brain. You see, myelin is like a protective coat that rounds or wraps around the axon of a nerve cell. You can do your research on that. So this myelin helps for faster conduction of nerve impulses, and you build this myelin by the ways I'm going to be showing you in this video. But let's forget about the anatomy of these things. Let's get into why we're actually here. I always say this, 99% of people who will watch this video will still not actually become geniuses. It's not because they were not designed to become geniuses, but they fail to do one thing. And what is this one thing? Let's hold on a minute. I'll be showing you later on in the video. But before we move on into these things, let's look at what a genius actually is. So if you're thinking of clicking off at this point in time, you might just miss the whole point of the video. So I urge you to stay to the end. Definitely you're going to gain a lot of value. Who is a genius? So a genius doesn't necessarily mean the person has to be smarter or a lot smarter. A genius is someone who notices the area where everyone misses it and decides to make that a point of obsession. Yes. And you may be thinking, why on earth should I become a genius? That's because the moment you become a genius or you unlock your geniusity, you don't just get to become a spectator in someone else's game, you get to play the game yourself. What I'm saying is, you don't live in people's idea of how the world should be, how the world should run, how the educational system should run, how the office should run, how anything should run. So here are 5 things geniuses do that normal people do not. And if you want to become a genius, you should definitely cultivate them. So geniuses consume, collect, and compress information. They are not just the type that just flip through a book or maybe after reading can't remember anything or jack about what they have just read. They are the kind of people who constantly look for ways in order to ensure that the information they've just learned doesn't leave their head. So you see them practicing visualization, you see them practicing several reflection methods, which I'll be showing you. So this reflection method includes asking yourself 4 questions, which are what, why, how, and now what. So what is the material I'm studying? Is it under the sciences? Is it philosophy? Is it economics? Is it political science? Whatever you are studying, you have to ask yourself, what are you studying? What is this material all about? Then the big question, why? Many people don't ask themselves why, and I don't know why. So if you ask yourself often, why am I doing this thing you are doing, you've just created a reason for yourself to want to know more about that thing. Then the third one is how can this knowledge affect me, affect the people in my society, affect everyone around me and humanity as a whole. Remember, that's the goal. Humanity, affecting humanity, influencing humanity, making life better for everyone around you. After all these 3, you ask yourself, now what? Now what do I do with this information I've learned? Will you choose to implement it? Will you choose to just keep it in your head? What are you going to do with what you have just learned? So the second one being the fact that geniuses don't balance, they obsess. And the educational system fails at this a lot, because I remember when I was in junior secondary school too, I remember I think I offered about 22 subjects then. Yes, 22 subjects. And why on earth should I offer 22 subjects? Like, why? Even though at least I need knowledge on almost everything, but why? It just makes me kind of a jack of all trade and a master of none, even though I kind of passed all the tests and all the exams. But there's something obsession does to you. It removes you from just being good at something to being legendary at it. So why don't just go for being legendary? And I read a lot of stories and I got to read about this man. His name is, I don't remember his name. His name will be displayed on the screen. He was a great mathematician in history. While he was in school, his teachers always complained about him. They always complained that he's not good at English, he's not good at chemistry. He was only focused and geared at mathematics. He saw the world with a mathematical lens, if I can say. So after school, he would come back to just look at and write more equations upon equations. All his notes were filled with mathematical equations. All the teachers then thought that this guy is definitely crazy. Why is he doing this at a very young age? But a school got to finally recognize his geniusity, and that was Cambridge University. The professors in Cambridge University got to term his work as out of this world. Like, just imagine that. So what many normal people term as imbalance or not being able to find balance is what geniuses term as laser focus. And this is really very essential to exploiting the good in anything. So there are two ways to achieving obsession, and the first one is the Feynman's technique. Albert Einstein once said, if you truly understand something, you should be able to explain it to a child or to yourself. So when geniuses find out that they really want to understand something, they tend to teach others. You see, most of the scientists that we have today, if you notice how they grew or how they became who they are or what they are right now, for example, like Oppenheimer. So most of you have watched the movie Oppenheimer. You see how he taught in several schools in the UK and several schools in Europe. So in the process of doing this, people can submit to you questions that you could not even have thought of asking yourself. So these questions now create like a hole in your understanding, and this is actually painful, especially on things you have taken your time to work so much on. When people find a hole in their understanding, they don't like to accept it. But if you embrace this, you are exposing yourself to discovering more things about that subject matter. And here's a few words from Feynman himself.
You asked me if an ordinary person, by studying hard, would get to be able to imagine these things like I imagine. Of course, I was an ordinary person who studied hard. There's no miracle people. It just happens they got interested in this thing and they learned all this stuff. So if you say you take an ordinary person who's willing to devote a great deal of time and study and work and thinking and mathematics and time, then he's become a scientist.
So the second way to go about obsession is mental visualization. And I can't imagine myself talking about mental visualization without telling you the story of Nikola Tesla. As an engineering student, imagine this with me. Nikola Tesla started imagining a world where we make use of motors that does not make use of brushes or even commutators. He thought about this idea in his mind. He saw how the motor would spin. He worked on it in his mind and perfected it in his mind. It was like a whole 3D hologram coming to life in his mind without him even doing anything from scratch in the reality, in physical. And today, this thought he had in his mind is what we know as the AC motor, a machine that still powers our world to today. So when you mentally visualize something by thinking of it even before it comes to life, you are gradually breathing sparks of geniusity in you. If you pay attention to the stories of many successful people who are the creme de la creme in their field, you will see that many people term them as people that are boring, people that are isolated and very committed to their work, or nerd or a weirdo. That's because to gain mastery in something, you have to be not normal. I have a friend that says to make a change, it takes madness. Yes, it does take madness. So you have to be different. So while the normal person is there scrolling endlessly on social media, and yes, that reminds me, I made a video on social media some months ago of how the first world demons have designed social media to rot our brains. Social media is so very much attractive these days that you can spend 2 hours without even knowing it. Some of us, we deceive ourselves. Okay, let me take a 5-minute break, and that turns to a 2 hours and let's scroll on TikTok. You see, I've just come to realize that every generation comes with its challenges, and the challenge this generation faces is a challenge of too much information. There's just so much to consume. And as a genius or someone who is wanting to become a genius, you have to guide yourself. So the fourth one I have here with me is creating mind maps. I'm not going to speak too much on this. So creating mind maps just involves you linking information with another relevant information within your memory. I made a short video about this. You can check it out here to watch how to go about that. The next one is being freaking ruthless. Yes, being ruthless. You have to be ruthless. Many people will call you weird. Many people will call you, the guy, the boring guy. Many people will abuse you. Many people will talk down on you. Many people will think you are not normal. But it's just a part of the process. So be ruthless with your values. Be disciplined. And it's not easy. So that leads me to my next point. Accept your weaknesses. The truth is that so many of us, we don't like to accept the fact that we are weak, especially men. But over time, I've come to realize that you do not do yourself any favor if you don't tell yourself the truth. So when I realized that I'm too much addicted to something to break out of it, I just pray to God and be like, God, I need your help. You're the only one that can help me. From there, I create systems around my life that ensures that I do not do those such things again. For example, I tell people to watch me, keep track of my activities, and just create an environment that fosters, the character I want to see. And you should do that if you know that you have issues in one or two of these areas. And lastly, if you're a student preparing for any exam at all, whether it's UTME, SSC, or maybe you just want to learn on a daily basis, I'm going to be holding a brainstorming for you guys in a closed WhatsApp group. Please do make sure you join using the link in my channel description. Please make use of all these things you have learned. You can be the change the world is waiting for. You can be the answer the world is waiting for. Having said this, I'll see you on the other side.